Hey guys, this is Bradley with Mindset Mastery, and this is actually week 7. And today I'm going to be talking about focus on the process, not the destination. And I'll explain that in just a moment. One thing I want to encourage you to do though is to go to bradleybenner.com and sign up or subscribe to my daily email newsletter, basically. And it's not really a newsletter, it's just every day I've been trying to develop the habit of writing every single day, a minimum of 200 words. And I figured the best way to do that, to develop that habit, is to start writing about something I'm so passionate about, which is this Mindset Mastery series that I've been working on. And in part, I wanted to develop the habit because writing is so painful and tedious for me. It's a very laborious process. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of time for me to write things. I'm so much better at recording videos than I am actually writing stuff. And it's not that I'm not good at writing stuff, it's just that it takes so much time. So it requires a lot of effort. And one way to improve that, to make it not so difficult, is to just do it more often, right? And so over the last several years, I've thought many times about improving my writing skills by practicing regularly. And I've set goals, but then I always focused on the destination and not the process. This will make more sense as I go through today's lesson. But I always focused on just getting better at writing by quantifying it somehow or another, and I was never able to actually see results quick enough, and so I would get discouraged and quit. And so I realized through the concept I'm going to be sharing today about focusing on the process instead of the destination, that really I should just be focusing on a daily process of writing, practicing writing every day. And so I set a goal of trying to write a minimum of 200 words every day, Monday through Friday. My commitment is to do it as many days as possible. There are obviously some times where I do have to miss, but for the most part, for about 3 weeks now, I've written 12 emails over 3 weeks. And now, that's Monday through Friday, so it's 5 days per week. So that's not bad. I've only missed a couple of days. But my minimum goal is 200 words per day. And what happens is, usually by the time I get to 200 words, I'm not able to convey my thought within those 200 words. So it ends up being between like 500 to 800 words on average for my daily emails. But they're kick your ass type of emails. Go to bradleybenner.com, make sure you subscribe. There should be a little pop-up window that comes up to tell you to subscribe to my daily email list. And when I say kick your ass emails, in other words, it's basically me just sharing a thought or a concept about mindset and success habits. And I don't sugarcoat it. I might use some colorful language in the emails, but that's because that's how I talk and that's how I think in my own mind. My own internal dialogue is to use that, to talk that way. And so it's my voice that you're hearing. And so if you're easily offended, well, tough shit. Don't subscribe or just unsubscribe, because I'm gonna give it to you the way that I see it. And that's it's really motivating for me to do it, because it reinforces every single day that I sit down and write one of these emails. It's part of my daily morning habit now. Is it kind of re-energizes my own desire to follow these principles, right? So again, go to bradleybenner.com and subscribe to the Mindset Mastery daily emails. Again, if you're offended or you don't like them, just unsubscribe. That's it. But I recommend, or at least suggest, trying subscribing and reading some of the emails on a daily basis, because they're short and it's just enough to give you kind of a kick in the ass to get off your ass and do something, right? Follow your dreams. Make life happen instead of letting life happen to you. Make it happen. Bend life to your desire, to your will, right? And that's what this is all about. So let's get into focus on the process and not the destination. This is not something that I originated. I don't know who the original source was. I've heard this concept explained in various places, right? Different books, different articles, blogs, things like that. So it's probably a pretty common thing. I don't know who the original source is. Maybe I can do some research and find that out. One of the places that I've studied this concept that really drove it home for me is by this blogger named James Clear. And I'll put a link to the article specifically about that I'm talking about on James Clear's blog in the description of this video, okay? So I would encourage you to go take a few minutes and go read that. He's actually got several really good articles on there that I've read over the last couple of years. So again, I'll point out to that. But he has a really good article about focus on the process, not the destination, as well as many other places. What I want to talk about is when we set goals, we often we set a goal to achieve something, to reach some destination, whether that's attain a material object, or increase our income, or find a partner, a soulmate, a spouse, a significant other, whatever. Get in shape, lose weight, buy a house, anything, whatever it is, reach a certain accolade or award or, some sort of recognition in a professional environment. Whatever the goal may be, we always have a destination in mind, right? That's where we want to go. And a lot of times we assign happiness to that goal, like to an event. In other words, if we reach this event, if we're able to achieve our goal, then we'll be happy. Well, that's flawed thinking to begin with, because happiness is not a destination. It's not something that you can obtain from an external source, right? Happiness is internal. You have to be happy in the current moment, right? You have to be happy internally. Happiness does not come from any sort of external source. It always comes internally. And assigning happiness to a later date, a future date, to some event occurring, to some accomplishment, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because you'll eventually, if you do end up reaching your goal, you achieve that goal, that event occurs, right? Then what happens then? Is that happiness sustainable? Is it going to is it everlasting? No, it's not, because if you're not truly happy with yourself to begin with, which is an internal thing, then no external circumstance will ever provide, or external source I should say, will ever provide lasting happiness. So that in itself, assigning happiness to a particular event or some goal, achieving some goal, it's not the best way to think about happiness anyways, right? So that's number one. Number two is, oftentimes when we set the goal, we always focus on the destination and not the process itself. And when we focus on the destination, it's very easy to get discouraged if we're not making progress in a time frame that we had expected, right? Or had set out to do originally. And that can discourage us and cause us to become disappointed and end up quitting. And that happens a lot. That's why most goals are never met. And I'm going to give you some examples here specifically. I'm going to talk about weight loss. Again, I use that oftentimes because it's such a dramatic example that I'm able to show and quantify through my own transformation, physical transformation in the last 2 years. But I'm going to use weight loss as example number one. And then I'm also going to use, I'm going to explain or expand this concept in a business sense as well. In other words, I'm going to try to convey this idea using a business or an income or revenue generating example as well. So bear with me on both of these, okay? So focusing on the destination instead of the process itself is how most people set goals. And it's why most goals don't get met, because let's use weight loss, for example. Let's say that I wanted to lose 25 pounds, okay? And guys, when I'm talking about me, just imagine or put yourself in my shoes for a minute. This could be you. This could be you talking about yourself, right? So let's say I want to lose 25 pounds. I'm 25 pounds overweight or 50 pounds overweight, doesn't matter. My goal is to lose 25 pounds, right? Let's say I want to lose 25 pounds in 3 months. Sounds reasonable. Well, number one, a lot of goals are they're unreasonable, or at least the timetable, the time frame that you allow yourself to achieve a goal is a lot. Most of the time, it's very unreasonable. It's unrealistic, okay? But we're going to set all reasonable, moderate type of goals here, guys, for these examples, because it's the concept I want to really drive home, all right? So let's say I want to lose 25 pounds and I want to do it in 3 months. That's a very reasonable goal. It's 2 pounds per week, 8 pounds per month, 24 pounds in 3 months. I know I've done it, because when I lost all that weight, I've lost 100 pounds now. I did it at the rate of 2 pounds per week for many, many, many months. In fact, it was 28 weeks. I lost 56 pounds over 28 weeks. So I know that's a very possible goal. But if I was sedentary which I was when I got started, right? So I was obese and I never did any exercise. I was very overweight, very out of shape. And when I first started, my goal was to lose 50 pounds. I was 280 pounds at the time. I wanted to lose 50. And let's say that my goal for this example was 25 pounds in 3 months. So then I decide, okay, I'm going to start making better food choices, eating healthier, eating less, and I'm going to start exercising daily. Let's say 20 minutes to start. Whether and that could, or walk 2 miles. Let's just do that. Say walk 2 miles, which takes about 30 to 35 minutes, right? So if I set that goal and I start on that path, right? I started today, wake up today, and I say, today I'm going to eat better, and I kind of plan out my food for the day, and it's all healthier than what I had been eating, better food choices, and I'm consuming less because I'm thinking about planning my meals for the day instead of just eating whatever, right? I start following the process that I know is going to help based upon all the research and the proof out there that if I do this, I should lose weight, right? So make better food choices, eat less, and then I'm going to go walk 2 miles today. And let's say I do it. Get up and I go do it. It was a successful day, right? I do that the next day, and the next day, and the next day. 3 weeks goes by, and I get on the scale, and I've only lost 3 pounds, right? My goal is 25 pounds in 3 months. So at the rate of 2 pounds per week, 3 weeks I should have lost 6. But in 3 weeks, I get on the scale and I've only lost 3 pounds. At that point, you get discouraged. I would get discouraged, right? And say, and I know because I went through this process, guys. That's why I can speak from 100% experience in this, in weight loss and in business. And when we get to the business time example, I'll talk about that a little bit more too. But 3 weeks goes by, I lose 3 pounds instead of 6. Then now I get discouraged. I start thinking, oh shit, what's wrong? I've been really working hard at this. I've been following a strict diet. I'm hungry all the time. I'm miserable. I've been walking every day for two miles per day minimum. My feet hurt, whatever. And I'm not making the progress. I guess it's not going to work for me, right? And even if I don't quit at that moment, that doubt starts to surface, right? It starts to bubble up, and I'm starting to already tell myself that fear and self-doubt, that negative self-talk, I'm starting to hear that. Oh, you're not going to be able to do this. It's too hard. You're tired. You're hungry. Or in this case, I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm not going to be able to do this. Maybe my body type is just that. Sorry, that was a loud truck. My body type is just meant to be fat, or overweight or whatever. All these things that we start to tell ourselves, I would tell myself. I've been through this, so even if I didn't quit at that 3 week mark, I would already starting to allow this negative self-talk to enter into my mind, which kind of kills your enthusiasm, right? It would kill my enthusiasm, make me less excited, less motivated to follow through or to carry on. So another week or two goes by. I might have lost a little bit more weight, but throughout that following week or two, I'm starting to allow that negative talk to take more and more hold, because it's like a weed. If you don't pull it out of the ground right away, as soon as it starts to surface, it will continue to grow, right? It's not just going to stop at some point. Oh, it's gotten this tall and it's not going to grow anymore. It's not like that. If you allow it to, that weed will grow and grow and grow, and next thing you know, other weeds will start to pop up around it, right? Same thing happens with negative talk, negative and doubt. As soon as doubt starts to surface, you got to get rid of that damn doubt, or else it can start to breed additional doubt. So my point is, at some point, especially if I've now gone 4 or 5 weeks in and I've only lost, let's say 5 weeks in and I've only lost 6 or 7 pounds, and my goal was to lose 10 or 12 pounds by that point, and I'm discouraged because I'm miserable all the time. So next thing I know, I just say, this isn't going to work, or this isn't for me, or I'm not meant to be thin or fit or whatever, and I quit. And that's it. And it's because I focused on the destination and not the process, right? The goal was some arbitrary number that I set within a certain amount of time, and because I'm trying to measure my progress along, to see where I am at in the pursuit of that goal, if I'm not within the specific parameters that I set for myself, it's easy to get discouraged and ultimately quit, right? Or to give less effort and ultimately quit. And The other part of that is, let's say that all went well. Let's say that I immediately started losing 2 pounds per week. And so I knew I was on track to meet my goal. But at the end of that 3 months, I hit my goal and I hit 25 pounds in 3 months. What do you do then, right? If you've assigned happiness, or if I assigned happiness to that end goal, then yeah, I did it. I made it. I lost 25 pounds in 3 months. What's my next goal? And will that satisfaction from achieving that goal, will that last? Likely no, because it was a external source that I assigned my happiness to, and I've already achieved that goal, which means it's not going to be an everlasting happiness, right? I'm not going to be satisfied for long. I will for a period of time, but also what happens to my health and my eating habits and my exercise habits when I've already reached that goal? If I hit my goal, then I either have to set another goal, a new goal, or what do? I start to fall back into old habits, right? And old habits are what is going to undermine and actually reverse all the progress that I made. It's just a matter of time. So instead, why not focus on the process? And if you already know that making better food choices, eating healthy whole foods, like I eat whole foods, I don't eat anything processed. It's just everything's fresh meats and vegetables, and not very much fruit because it's sugar, stuff like that. But let's just say this isn't about diet. This is about this concept. I eat whole foods. So if you know that eating whole foods, healthier eating choices, eating less, consuming less food, and exercising more is what it takes to lose weight and to get into shape. If you know that, then you know that as long as you're doing that on a daily basis, you're following that process, your goal of whatever number of pounds that you want to weight or you want to lose, will inevitably happen, right? So that number that you assign to this goal is no longer that might be some goal that you have because that's going to, you feel like that's how you want to measure your success. But the actual process itself is a daily thing. If every single day you wake up and I keep switching back and forth between I and you. Let's say I know that every single day, if I wake up and I focus on today, I'm going to make healthier food choices. I'm going to consume less than I need, for less calories than what I would need. That way I can create a calorie deficit, which means I will be tapping my fat stores for energy because if you need 2,000 calories a day to survive and you only eat 1,500 calories a day, you create a 500 calorie deficit per day, which means it's going to tap your fat stores to use that for energy to meet your caloric needs for the day, which means you're going to start to lose body fat. And I know this to be true. That's science. It's fact, right? So if I know that that's the case, and I eat less, consume less than my caloric needs, I choose healthy foods that are going to sustain me nutritionally, and I exercise, and I know that exercise is going to help me to get fitter and get healthier, then if I wake up this morning and I say I'm going to choose healthy foods, I'm going to eat less, and I'm going to exercise today for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is. I'm going to walk 2 miles or whatever it may be. I'm going to jog a mile. I'm going to lift weights today. Whatever it is, if I make those 3 choices, then I know for certain that I'm on the path to reaching my destination. Regardless of when I'm going to reach that 25 pound mark, that 25 pound mark is just a way to measure or to quantify progress to myself. It's not a destination. I'm not going to be happy when I hit the 25 pound mark. I'm happy today because I know I'm going to follow the process that inevitably will get me to my destination. I know it because many thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people before me have followed the same process and have achieved results. And so therefore, I no longer have to get discouraged about where I am as far as my timeline in pursuit of that goal, because I already know for sure that this process will take me to my destination. It's just a matter of when, not if, but when, right? It's inevitable. It will happen. It's a proven process. It's a proven model. All I have to do is follow that. So fall in love with the process, not the destination. So just to close this example out, and then we're going to move into a business example of this same concept. I just want to talk about how, the process for me now, when I decided, when I was 280 pounds and I was obese, I was completely out of shape, I was miserable, I had low self-esteem. I was just flat out embarrassed to be me, to be honest with you. And this was in August of 2015 when I made the decision to change my life and to get fit and to get healthy. And at that time, my goal was exactly what I'm telling you not to do, which was just lose 50 pounds, right? That was my goal, was to go from 280 to 230. And then I knew at that point, if I hit that goal, that I would, reassess or create a new goal, in other words. But I was miserable, and I had a really difficult time at first just following a plan. But I did know, fortunately, I read enough and studied enough to know of certain processes that I knew that would work, or that should work, because they were proven over and over and over again. So, long story short, I reached that 50-pound goal, and then I set another goal, which was like another 10 pounds. And then I hit that, and then I set another goal, it was another 10 pounds. And I kept doing that all the way until I got to about the 90-pound mark that I had lost. So I was around 190 at the time. Right now I weigh 180. I've lost 100 pounds. But around the 90-pound mark, when I was around 190, that's when I realized that at some point I was going to run out of weight to lose. And then what was I going to do for my goals? Like, if I didn't have something to work towards on a daily basis, then what would happen? Would I just go back to old habits again, which would be eating like shit, not exercising, and start getting fat again, like getting out of shape, start losing all the work that I put in? And I realized that I better change my thought process on whether, on what I wanted to do to stay fit, because having that that number of weight that I wanted to lose was eventually, I was going to get to a point where I plateaued, I leveled out, and there wasn't really much fat for me to lose anymore. And so therefore I would run out of goals. And so I shifted my focus from focusing on the destination, number of pounds lost, to the process. And the process is to just be healthy, to make healthy choices, to be fit, to get fitter every day. How do you do that? Well, I know that my goal now, every single day I wake up, I've got a brand new goal for being healthy and fit. And that's to make good food choices, to continue making good food choices, and to try to make improvements or do better today in exercise than I did yesterday. Which means I might try to run a little bit faster, or run a little bit farther, or lift a little bit more weight, or do more reps, like do more, actual number of reps when I'm lifting weights, or beat a timed workout in less time. So in other words, improve my time to complete a specific workout. Something like that. Every single day I try to push harder, just a tad bit, even if it's just one more rep, or 2.5 more pounds, or 5 seconds off of a previous record on my time for a particular workout or exercise or whatever. Every single day I just try to compete against myself and do just a slightly better than the day before. Guys, this doesn't mean I don't make mistakes and I don't get off track. I don't, get off track and lose the ability to maintain a specific process. Not at all. I'm human too. I make mistakes. Some days I screw up and I eat something I shouldn't have eaten, or eat too much. I overeat, whatever. Or some days something happens and I'm unable to go work out or whatever. So if you're focused on the destination, if I was focused on a particular destination and I had a setback, it would be very easy to say, oh, well, that's it. It's ruined my ability to reach this goal. I'm never going to reach it now by this set date because I screwed up over here. And next thing you know, I would have quit. But instead, if I make a mistake now, every day is a brand new day. Every day is a brand new goal, a new opportunity to set that goal all over again. I can wake up this morning and say, okay, yesterday I screwed up. I ate I ate a whole damn pizza. I don't really do that, but let's say I did. I ate a whole damn pizza. I ate 3,000 calories in one sitting. I really screwed up. But today, I'm going to do better. Today, I'm going to make healthy food choices. Today, I'm going to exercise a little bit harder than I did yesterday to make up for it. That kind of stuff. Does that make sense? And so I've fallen in love with the process of just trying to improve every single day. And that's it. Like, there is no destination. I don't have a fitness level or goal that I'm trying to achieve with my level of fitness other than to just every day get better. Does that make sense? So, all right, I'm going to move on to a business example of this same concept. Let's say you want to make $5,000 more a month in revenue. And let's say you're going to use internet marketing, online marketing, as a way to generate that additional $5,000. Many of you may already have internet marketing businesses. That's great. Some of you may not. I'm just going to use that as an example because it's something that obviously I do. But let's say that I wanted to make an additional $5,000 per month. And it's the last week of November right now, the Thanksgiving week. Well, second to last week in November. It's Thanksgiving week, November 2017 right now. So New Year's resolutions are coming up, right? Or the New Year is coming up, and everybody typically makes New Year's resolutions. And it's some stupid number like 98 or 99% of New Year's resolutions are never met. People don't follow through. And the reason why is because people focus on the destination, or they focus on the destination and they set unrealistic goals, right? They're too big. The goals are too big and too aggressive for them to actually meet. They're not realistic about it. So there's nothing wrong with setting big goals, guys, but you have to be realistic about how long it's going to take to achieve those. And if you focus on the destination, as I'm talking about in this very video, it's so much easier to get discouraged when you hit obstacles and setbacks. But if you focus on the process, big goals are fine. You should be aiming big, right? The bigger the better. Shoot for the stars, you might hit the moon, right? Even if you fail, you still have hit the moon. Does that make sense? So you want big goals, but if you're focused on the process, then it doesn't matter how big or how overwhelming or how far out of reach those goals are. If you can follow a process that you know is going to get you to your destination eventually, inevitably, as long as you follow the process, there is freedom in routine. There is freedom in knowing that, right? So my point is, let's say I wanted to make $5,000 more a month, and I wanted to use online marketing as my vehicle to get me there. And the New Year's is coming up. So let's say January 1st, I say, okay, by December 31st, 2018, I want to have increased my revenue an additional $5,000 per month. And I'm going to use online marketing as a way to do it. Then let's say under normal conditions, what most people do, life happens, guys. So that's my goal in January. And by June, I reassess where I'm at with my goals, right? Let's say by June, I've only increased my revenue $1,000 per month. My goal was $5,000. We're 6 months in, halfway through this next year, and I've only increased it $1,000. At that point, it's very discouraging. How the hell am I going to get another $4,000 a month in increased revenue over the next 6 months when it took me 6 months to make $1,000? Chances are a lot of stuff happened in those first 6 months. Business got in the way, emergencies happened, family stuff, personal stuff, all these different things because life happens, and that's what happens, right? And we never got around to doing all the stuff that we wanted to do to reach that goal of $5,000 a month. We tried, but it wasn't really a focused effort. It was kind of half-assed attempted, that kind of stuff. Instead, if I know that I want to make $5,000 a month, and I can go out and find a training course, for example, a program, we teach them at Semantic Mastery how to create money online, and how to maybe, let's say I wanted to provide digital marketing services to local businesses. Something very near and dear to me. That's the vast majority of my marketing income comes from, is from providing marketing services to local businesses or generating leads online for local businesses. So let's say that was the model that I wanted to use, and I was new to it, and I wanted to provide local or marketing services to local businesses, digital marketing services to local businesses. Then I might go to somewhere like Semantic Mastery and buy one of the training courses. And I know that course, as long as I follow that information, is going to provide that $5,000 a month in income for me. I know it because the creators of the course have done it and have proven it. In this case, that's me. I've done it and proven it. And but also other members, other students, other people who have joined and taken the course have also been able to achieve success. And so that for sure, I know for sure I can go buy this course, and as long as I implement it and follow it, and do everything that's necessary, that it will get me to that point where I can make an additional $5,000 a month. Hopefully within 12 months. But that's besides the point. The time frame isn't really important here, unless of course it's, an emergency. You have to have it by a certain point, which, by the way, that provides motivation. Emergency situations a lot of times will provide motivation that we typically don't have otherwise. And so that's why when people are under the gun, so to speak, or under pressure, they oftentimes do perform much better, because there is a level of pressure there that isn't there under normal day-to-day circumstances. But if I know for sure that if I follow this process that's been proven, it's not a question of if it will work. It's only a question of when it will work. As long as I follow the process, then my goal every morning is to wake up and follow a specific process that I know it will inevitably get me to my destination. I want to do the things every day that somebody that has already done it does. Does that make sense? Somebody that has already achieved a level of success that I want to achieve, what do they do on a daily basis? That's what I want to model. I want to model what they do. And I want to do that on a daily basis. That's the process. That's focusing on the process. The process is there. I know it. I can purchase the process because others have done it before me. And all I want to do is follow in the footsteps of others. And as long as I follow that process, I will invariably, I will reach my goal. It might not be within 12 months. It might be so much sooner. In fact, a lot of the times when we follow a known process and we don't deviate and we don't invent and we don't take shortcuts because we think we know better, and now that's not important, I'll do it my way is going to be better, and then what happens? We don't achieve the level of success, or we never end up reaching our destination, and that's because we didn't follow a very specific process. But if you have a process and you know that it will work, then you follow that process with knowing, right? You have the belief that you're going to succeed, that you will achieve your goal eventually, right? And I talked about this in another video, and I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but there's three things to changing your reality. There is belief, expectation, and imagination. That's how you change your reality. You have to believe first that it's possible. You have to expect that you can make it happen, right? And then you have to use your imagination to help keep you motivated to push past all the obstacles that will be thrown in your way to achieve any goal, right? And so if you know for sure, let's go back to weight loss, for example. If I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that eating healthy, consuming less calories, less energy than you expend on a daily basis, and exercising more is going to help me to lose fat and get into shape and to be healthy. If I know that for sure, which is it's fact, right? There's no way I can dispute that. Then I already believe that it's real. I have to expect that as long as I follow that process, that it will also occur to me, right? It will occur for me. I will also start to lose fat and to get healthier, become fitter. And then I can use my imagination to be able to visualize what I will be like and what I will feel like and what other people will say about me. But once I am fit and I am healthier and I have lost that weight, and I'll be able to imagine going into the clothes store, the department store, and buying clothes that fit and not have to go to the big and tall men's section, right? I can imagine what it's like to go out for drinks with friends and be, and maybe, flirt with women and not be self-confident or, self-conscious and embarrassed about my weight and my looks and that kind of stuff, right? If I know all of that, the process will get me there, I already know it's true, it's real, there's no disputing that. And I expect that as long as I follow that process, and then I start to imagine what it'll be like once I've reached that goal and how I will feel, that's going to help me to push past any of the pain and discomfort of of going through this process to reach that destination, right? Where most people fail or most people quit because they run into some obstacles. Same thing applies with the business example. If I know for sure that this training course over here, this program, if followed, I know it works because it's been done before. Not just by one person, but by many people. Tens, dozens, hundreds, thousands, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's proven, it's known, it works. So the belief is there. The expectation is I have to expect that as long as I follow this process, that it will get me there. And then I can start imagining what my life will be like with an additional $5,000 a month, right? How my bills will be met and I won't be stressed out about money, and how I can take my daughter out for, to do things, extra things that I haven't been able to do in the past. I can maybe get the car that I wanted. I can maybe pay off credit card debt. I can do all these other things, and what it will feel like to have that new freedom in my life that the $5,000 a month has given me. Then I can visualize that, which will help to keep me motivated when obstacles occur, which they always do. They always will, okay? But I can use that to help motivate me to pass that point. So again, my point with all of this, guys, is that if you focus on the process instead of the destination, first of all, identify, if you have to invent some process, then this is debatable. But chances are pretty much anything that you want to do out there has already been done by somebody else and has been done well, and there's some sort of process out there that can be duplicated, replicated, and followed, right? So if you can do that, if you can identify that, and then follow that process, if you've got to pay money or whatever, it doesn't matter. My point is, follow that process and invest in the process. Surrender yourself to the process, right? Make that the goal. The goal every day is to make sure that you are following a specific process. The destination will occur. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. And that's what I wanted to convey today in this Mindset Mastery Week 7 lesson, which is, again, guys, I've learned this, I didn't know this. This isn't something that, I've read this stuff over the last several years, but I wasn't ready for it. Many of you may not be ready for this yet, but I'm telling you, I've seen it in my own business. I've seen it in my own life through the weight loss. I've seen it through the various businesses that I own now. That every time I focus on a destination, guys, I've got so many failed marketing projects or abandoned marketing projects. Let's say that. They are abandoned and failed. They are failed because I abandoned them. Does that make sense? So I've got so many projects that I've started on because I had full intentions of completing them, following through until the end. But I was always focused on the destination, on the amount of revenue that I could generate from it, or the recognition that I would get for having done it, or whatever the case may be, whatever the goal is. At some point, the obstacles start to pop up, hurdles get thrown in the way, right? And it always does. There's no way around that. And it slowed my progress down based upon the time frame that I've set to have these projects completed. And it's thrown me way off course to the point where I end up throwing up my hands saying, oh, that's it. I'm never going to make it by this time. So what's the point? And I abandon the projects. That's complete wasted effort, wasted time, wasted money, right? And I've got dozens of projects out there like that. It's because I was always focused on the destination. What I've learned is to focus on the process. So now whenever I set a new goal, something that I want, like I'm building another marketing agency right now. And so when I'm working on that, the goal could be I want 100 clients, but then if let's say I want 100 clients in the next 18 months, right? That's a fairly reasonable goal. But if I go 6 months and I've only gotten 10 clients, then all of a sudden now I've only got 12 months left, so 2/3 of it left to get another, 90 clients or whatever. That's like, that to me would basically be a deal killer. Like I'd lose all motivation, right? I'm never going to make it. It took me 6 months to get 10 clients. There's no way I'm going to get 90 clients in the next 12 months, blah, blah, blah. That's it. I'm done. Instead, I focus on the process, and I'm doing that right now. Like originally when I first started to work on building this new agency, I did have this goal of a certain amount of clients by a certain date. And then I realized that was unrealistic and it was dumb, because I was going to get discouraged at some point and I'd end up quitting because of my past record, my past history, right? So instead, my goal now is just daily. I talk about this all the time, but I use the best self journal. So I write down a goal every day, and then I break down like 3 action items, or write down 3 action items that I can actually take that day to move towards that goal. So my goal every day, right now until the first of the year, is to continue working on the process of building this agency on a daily basis. And it's really been, that's why I said earlier, there's freedom in routine. And I mean that because instead of stressing out over a goal that I want to achieve at some point, and worrying about the time frame and where I am along that, on the path to achieve that goal, or how far off course I've gotten. Instead of worrying about all that, I don't. I just focus on the process. I do what I know will get me there eventually, and I course correct on a daily basis. Obviously, I make mistakes. I make more mistakes than I do. I fail more than I succeed, and that's true of any entrepreneur. And you have to be able to take failure like that and keep getting up, dusting yourself off, and going at it again. And focusing on the process will enable you to do that. Because if you focus on the destination, it's so easy for that goal, for you to lose sight of that goal because of all the obstacles and how far off course you get throughout the process of trying to get there, right? It happens, guys. But if you focus on the process, you say, okay, you know what? I messed up. Today was a failure. But tomorrow's another day. I can start all over again on this process tomorrow. So again, guys, focus on the process, not the destination. I'll put some additional resources in the video description area underneath the video. If you have any questions, make sure you go to bradleybenner.com, click on the button underneath the little video there that will take you over to a Google form. You can ask me up to 2 questions per week. I just ask that you stick to only 2 questions per week to respect my time. I will answer them at some point. I try to answer them in video format like this. Sometimes I'll just shoot an email back to you with my response. It just depends. So again, I encourage you to ask me questions. Subscribe to my daily update emails. I've been working on that now for about 3 weeks. My goal is to continue trying to write 200 words minimum per day. I'm going to continue doing it in the Mindset Mastery email series. So I encourage you to go sign up for that. Like I said, if you're easily offended, tough, just don't unsubscribe, because I do use some colorful language, but that's just because that's who I am and that's the way I talk. So thanks for checking out Mindset Mastery Week 7, and I will see you next week.